The first UFC event of 2019 is being held in Brooklyn, New York, and is headlined by a flyweight title fight between TJ Dillashaw and Henry, the champion, the messenger Cejudo, and it's the first time that the UFC is going to be broadcast on ESPN. I, for one, am super pumped about it, but here are my top 3 fights that I think you need to pay attention to beyond the main event. Number 3. Gregor the Gift Gillespie vs. Yancy Medeiros in a lightweight showdown during the main card portion. Medeiros has experienced a lot of ups and downs during a lengthy career with the UFC. Heck, he has even experienced a roller coaster of success in individual bouts, like his 2017 Fight of the Year scrap against Brazilian cowboy Alex Oliveira. Overall, he has been awarded a post-fight bonus on 5 separate occasions. Before his last loss, which was to Donald Cerrone, he was on a streak of 3 impressive finish victories in a row. Of his 15 professional victories, 12 of them were finishes. He has surprising power in his hands and a kind of creative submission game. Perhaps my favorite thing about him is that he does not have great defense. As a fan of the sport, you've got to appreciate guys who have large amounts of toughness, but have suspect defense because it makes for violent affairs that are full of ebb and flow. His opponent, Gillespie, has absorbed less than half as many strikes as Medeiros per minute and has never absorbed a defeat in his mixed martial arts career. In 5 trips to the octagon, Gillespie has 4 stoppage victories and 3 post-fight bonuses. An absolutely incredible start to a UFC career. As a Division I All-American wrestler, you'd expect his MMA grappling and top control to be fierce, which it is, but he isn't one of those guys who just wants to win with control time. He has nasty ground and pound, plus I love how he is always looking to improve his position. If you're a fan of prospects who put delicious ground transitions on display and will likely be in championship contention one day, you've got to love this guy. Gillespie is a gigantic favorite in this matchup, but whatever ends up happening, this fight is going to be a great time. Number 2. John Hands of Stone Linacre vs. Corey Sandhagen. John Linacre will be on the top 3 list every time he fights until he retires. I mentioned the lack of defense being fun to watch. Well, Linacre is that way as well. He likes to eat a shot to the head and then fire back his gigantic bungalow fist in a hook form to the body or the head of his opponent early and often. Usually this approach deters his opponents from throwing at him, and then he takes over. Sure, he lacks takedown defense, but he makes up for it by being one of the absolute most exciting fighters on the UFC's roster. Sandhagen has only 2 UFC opponents under his belt, but he has just as many finishes, and his last performance was Fight of the Night worthy. In that bout, he fought his way out of one of the nastiest, unsuccessful armbars I've ever seen. The grit that this guy has is unparalleled. Most fight fans agree that Sandhagen has a lot of potential to become a household name at 135 pounds. This fight guarantees violence and will likely see a finish, plus aesthetically it's going to be a bit weird because Linacre is almost a foot shorter than Sandhagen. That adds to like the circus nature of mixed martial arts. And number 1, Donald the Cowboy Cerrone vs. Alexander Hernandez. Cerrone is a household name and is one of the most popular fighters in UFC history to have never been a champion. Whether it's a highlight reel level Super Saiyan combination TKO finish like he dazzled fans with against Rick Story, or snatching incredibly quick submissions like he did his last time out against Platinum Perry, Cowboy is always entertaining. He has the most wins in UFC history, the most finishes in UFC history, and second most post-fight bonuses in Zuffa history. With those accolades alongside his persona, it would be criminal for me not to put him on this list. The reason this fight is in the top spot is because of all of what I just said, but also because Cowboy's opponent, Hernandez, is on a breakneck rise to the top of the lightweight division. In just 2 appearances, Hernandez has quickly dispatched of Benyel Dariush on short notice via knockout and then handily outclassed Olivier Aubin-Mercier. There is so much hype behind this 22-year-old Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt who has a bachelor's degree in business finance, according to Wikipedia, that he has been as high as a minus 220 favorite over Cerrone in some books. Hernandez is quick out of the gate. Cerrone is a slow starter, which could spell disaster for the veteran. But on the other hand, Cowboy has hog-tied youngsters who are a bit too big for their britches on a few occasions in the past. I predict a highlight reel edition to happen regardless of who wins, and I cannot wait to see how it plays out. Thank you so much for making it to this point in the video. My question this time is, how do you feel about Greg Hardy making his UFC debut at #UFC Brooklyn? Tell me about that in the comment section down below. Give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you during the SB Nation MMA post-fight show for UFC Fight Night 143. Namaste.